Hello everyone and welcome to our Chapter 3 study guide. The first section says use the diagram to answer the following. It wants us to name 3 pairs of skew segments. So let's think about what the word skew means. Skew is different than parallel. Parallel lines never cross and they're coplanar, meaning they face the same direction. Skew segments are going to never cross, but they're going to face different directions. They're non-coplanar, so they're going to be facing different ways. And so let's just go ahead and start with a single segment, EB. So who would be skew to EB? Well, there's going to be multiple options. So like EB, we need it to face a different direction on a different plane. So CG would work. EB and CG would be an option. Okay, I'm just going to stay on EB because I already have that one there. Who else would be facing a different direction? FG. So EB and FD. These are segments, so I am going to put segments over them. Okay, and then who else could be skew? I'm going to go away from EB this time because I don't want y'all watching this video to think it always has to be EB. I'm just randomly choosing one. So let's go to FD. Who could be skew to FD? Let's mix it up a little bit. FD, who's on a different plane facing a different direction. I'm going to go EC because EC is happening above it. So, and EC. So those are we have more than just those 3 examples, but those are 3 different examples of skew segments to each other. All right. Now we want to name some parallel lines. Okay, so this last one said skew segments, so I put segments above them. I'm obviously going to be putting some lines above these. Parallel lines in 3 different pairs. So who could be parallel to line EC? There's multiple things parallel to line EC. EC is parallel to BF. Those are facing the same direction. Those are never ever going to cross. So those are going to be parallel to each other. It says 3 pairs, so who else could I do? I could do EC. EC is also parallel to HG. Okay, and then I'm going to mix it up just so that you don't think that all of these have to be horizontal. Let's pick a vertical line, so FC. So who could be parallel to FC? Well, there's 3 options. There's BE, AH, and D to G, and so you can choose any of those. So I'm going to say FC is going to be parallel. This symbol written like that means parallel. That is going to be parallel to EB. So there's ask for lines. That's why I'm drawing lines over them. All right, let's clear our picture and start again. Name 3 pairs of parallel planes. So remember, when you name planes, you need at least 3 letters. You can use 4. I like to use 4 when it's a rectangular shape, just because it helps me to grab all 4 corners, but that is totally up to you. So let's just start with the floor. I like to highlight. So we're going to name that. So BADF. You get to start wherever you want. Typically, we like to go clockwise. BADF. I'm going to draw a little plane out front, or you could draw it above it. BADF, that floor, is going to be parallel to the ceiling. So what are those 4 letters? That would be EHGC. EHGC. So those, the ceiling and the floor, are going to be parallel. Now let's name the front wall and the back wall. So what is that front wall? That front wall is going to be those 4 corners, BECF, plane BECF. You only need 3, but I'm going to go ahead and use all 4. What are those 4 back letters for the back wall? That is going to be AHGD. AHGD. Okay, and then let's name the left and the right wall for our 3rd set. What is that left wall? The 4 corners of that left wall are BEHA. Plane BEHA is going to be parallel to that right wall. Well, what are those 4 letters? FCGD. They don't have to be in that order. FCGD. And so that is our first section. We have some more time, so I'll go ahead and do this next part as well. Use the diagram to the right for numbers 4 through 9, and you're going to write true or false. So we want to know, this is the exact same as that first section, but it's turned it into true or false statements. So looking at a statement to see, is it true from the diagram or not? So are A, E, and EF skew lines? Well, I'm going to teach y'all something before we even look at the picture. Do you see how there's an E in this line and there's also an E in this line? What that means is that those are intersecting at point E. So in the definition of being skew is that they never, ever, ever cross. I'm already thinking that this is going to be false. but let's go look at it in the picture just to make sure. AE is here, and line EF is here. Are those skew? No, because they are crossing, and they are crossing at point E. They do face different directions, but they do cross. So that is going to be a false statement. That is false, because those do cross at point E. All right, our plane DBF, so let's go find that. DBF, this is that right wall right here. Is that parallel to plane ABD? Well, y'all, again, before I even highlight this, I noticed that BD is in this plane, and BD is in this plane as well. So immediately I know that that is going to be a false statement because they do overlap. Where do they overlap? Where do they cross? They cross at line BD, so they cannot be parallel. To be parallel means that they never cross, and so that is a false statement. Now they want to test this with lines. Line GH, which is here, is that parallel, means facing the same direction and never crossing it on the same plane as EF. And that is our first one that is going to be true. Those never cross, and they are in the same plane. They face the same direction. So these are parallel to each other. All right, they do that again with another set of lines. DB, so that is happening here. Is that parallel to AE? So here's AE. So no, they do not cross, but they're not on the same plane. They're facing different directions. So those are not parallel. Those are actually going to be skew. So we're going to say false. Those are not parallel. All right, let's do the next one. We want to know if plane EFH, so that's this floor right here, EFH, is that parallel to plane ABD? That's the ceiling. That's the floor. Are those parallel? We would say true. The floor is parallel to the ceiling. All right, and then last but not least for this section are FH, so let's go highlight that, and CD, are those skew lines, meaning do they never cross and do they face different directions? FH is this line right here, CD is this line right here. Those would never cross, and those are on different planes, meaning they're non-coplanar. So those are, in fact, skew, so this is going to be a true statement. That is a true statement.